implementing some of these strategies could be a game changer for many of our listeners' businesses today. I'm sure everyone that either has their e-commerce brand ready to start selling, whether that's dropshipping or otherwise, they will learn the importance of email marketing, and this is what we'll dive into today.
And not just in e-commerce, but most businesses and industries, that email has the higher conversion when it comes to getting returning customers.
Because it's that ratio between how much you spend to acquire a customer and the difference between that and the lifetime value, which is where the business really lives or dies.
We just double the value of those customers, which is huge, right?
So whether you're new to e-commerce and you're just starting out, or if you're already up and running and you are looking to refine your strategies, today's discussion promises to equip you with the actionable tactics to elevate your email marketing game. Welcome to the Dropship Unlocked podcast. I'm Lewis Smith, the founder of Dropship Unlocked, and with me is our client success coach, James Erdley. Now, when we're not recording the podcast episodes, we're running our own e-commerce businesses and helping aspiring entrepreneurs launch their own high-ticket dropshipping businesses. Keen to build your own 6 or even 7-figure business? My book, The Home Turf Advantage, is your blueprint for launching a profitable online store. Grab your copy at htabook.com today and let's get you started. Now sit back, relax, and let's unlock your potential with the Dropship Unlocked podcast. Welcome to today's episode of the Dropship Unlocked podcast, where we are thrilled to host Daniel Budai, the founder of Budai Media and a visionary in the field of e-commerce marketing. With his expertise, Daniel has transformed the email marketing strategies for a range of different businesses, all the way from budding startups to lots of high-ticket brands out there. Yes, Lewis, today Daniel will unpack the significant role of email marketing in cultivating customer relationships and driving repeat business for your e-commerce store. So we'll delve into how strategically crafted email campaigns are not just about communication, but they're actually crucial tools for boosting the lifetime value of each customer. So that means that you will ensure that they return time and time again. Yeah, really powerful stuff and a great conversation. So prepare to take notes today. Grab a notepad and a pen, because Daniel's going to be sharing his insights on optimizing email frequency, growing a robust email list, something you're really going to want to pay attention to, and leveraging real-world success stories as well, where his approaches have markedly increased the lifetime value for a lot of the clients that he's worked with. So whether you're new to e-commerce and you're just starting out, or if you're already up and running and you are looking to refine your strategies, today's discussion promises to equip you with the actionable tactics to elevate your email marketing game. So let's dive into it. So today we have the pleasure of speaking with Daniel Budai on the podcast, and he is the mind behind Budai Media, which is a game changer in the world of e-commerce email marketing. So Daniel, welcome to the Dropship Unlocked podcast. It's an honor to have you on with us today. Before we dive in, could you start with a bit of an introduction and share a little bit about your journey and the mission of Budai Media?
Hey James, and hey everyone, I'm glad to be here and to be invited. So basically I run an e-commerce marketing agency called Budai Media with 20 people now, fully remote company, and 80% US market, very focused. The rest is mostly UK actually. And I used to be a student of geology actually for 6 years. I turned into a digital marketer. Now it was around 6 years ago. And I started my journey as a copywriter, and slowly we became an agency. I started hiring people for different roles, and our core service is still email marketing for e-commerce, but we've been expanding our services recently, and we are transitioning into more like e-commerce growth agency this year.
Brilliant. Fantastic. So I think copywriting is an interesting route into email because it plays a huge role in the emails that you write, no doubt. So yeah, it's great to have you on board. I'm sure everyone that either has their e-commerce brand ready to start selling, whether that's dropshipping or otherwise, they will learn the importance of email marketing, and this is what we'll dive into today. So something on your website is that you're really keen in growing the lifetime value for the e-commerce brands that you work with. So first of all, LTV or lifetime value, why do you think that's such an important metric for e-commerce brands to grow?
Yeah, sure. So basically, LTV, why it's so crucial, because I would come up with two acronyms here. One is CAC and the other one is LTV. So CAC stands for customer acquisition cost. Basically, this is what you pay, let's say, for Facebook or Google to acquire a new customer. And then you have the first purchase, which is great, and you want to make it profitable as a small business. But as you grow, you will have more and more repeat customers, and they come back and buy again and again. And you want to start tracking how much they spend during their whole lifetime in the future. And as a more mature business, a bigger business, that number will be much higher than the value of your first purchase. I think the most well-known example is Starbucks. So let's say you get a coffee there for $4 or $5, and that's not your lifetime value. You will come back tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, and your LTV, the value that you spend in your whole lifetime, it will be probably tens of thousands of dollars actually. So Starbucks would make a huge mistake just to calculate only with the value of the first purchase. So I hope this is understandable why it's important and why you don't want to just focus on the very first purchase, but the whole lifetime of the customer. So that's the concept here.
Absolutely. I mean, it's completely critical. And I'm glad you brought up as well the CAC, the CAC, or the cost per acquisition to acquire the customer, because it's that ratio between how much you spend to acquire a customer and the difference between that and the lifetime value, which is where the business really lives or dies. How much do you spend to acquire a customer and how much is that customer worth to you is really the key to any successful business. So email then for your agency is the focus. And why do you think email is so important to increase the lifetime value for a business?
Yeah, great question. So we can see this across all e-commerce businesses, and not just in e-commerce, but most businesses and industries, that email has the higher conversion when it comes to getting returning customers. So Facebook ads, Google ads, SEO, they are great to get new customers. And with email, you couldn't do this because you need an email list first. But these channels are great to acquire new customers, new eyeballs. And once they purchase, of course, you can run retargeting ads. You will be on Google anytime they can find you. But still, email marketing is a very direct way to approach people, send them a message, give them a solid offer, and they can click and buy from your website. So we can see that even if you retarget your traffic, your conversion will be usually less than from email. So from email traffic, we get like 10, 15, sometimes even 20% conversion rate, which is amazing. And that's why email is just so powerful to get returning customers.
Absolutely. It's huge. I'm keen to hear how you can achieve that sort of conversion rate. Is that from people that have already purchased from a business, or is that getting somebody to purchase for the first time?
Yeah, actually, I never really checked it or tracked it. So we usually send to more engaged segments, less engaged segments, and engaged segments usually customers, but not all of them. And for most clients, conversion is like 10% of people who go to the website from the email. Maybe if we checked only customers, it would be even higher. Ex-customers, past customers. So it's a high number for sure.
Fantastic. And I mean, being able to convert that many people that are on the brink by sending them a few emails is going to be so powerful for a business to increase their revenue and, of course, increase their profit as well. So really diving into the results that you have seen with email, a question that comes up a lot is, well, how often should I be emailing the contacts that I have on my list? So do you think that there is like a correct best practice frequency for how often to email the list?
Yeah, that's a great question. I get this so much actually. So I think some people, they think that how often I should or should I email my subscribers, But we should all realize that you can segment your list. So those people who really want to hear from you, they open each of your email, like a lot of your emails. You can email them even every day. They will open it, they will buy. And those folks who open only once in every 6 months, you don't want to email them more than a month. So that's why segmentation is so important. But of course, I know from a workload perspective, you want to come up with a number like, okay, so still how many emails I need to create. I would say if your list is below 5K subscribers, then I think probably like 2 campaigns a week, maybe even 3 campaigns a week. That's enough for a small list. Below 5K, you don't need too much segmentation because the segments will be too small. If you are, let's say, between 5 and 50K subscribers, I think 3, 4, even maybe 5 per week can be a right amount. And if you are beyond 50K subscribers, then even 5, so 5 a week, or even 7. So, or even if you have hundreds of thousands, then even multiple times a day to different segments. There are so many options then. So the list size is the most relevant for this.
Brilliant. Fantastic. So to give you some context for the majority of listeners for this podcast, they'll probably have less than 5,000 people in their customer list for the majority of these people. And we'll be selling high ticket products through our e-commerce businesses, generally in the UK. So I wanted to dig into your methods behind the segmentation. So for a brand, if they came to you and asked for your help with your services for their email marketing, and they have less than 5,000 people in their email list, how would you start to, or what sort of segments for their customer lists, how would you start to put together the segmentation for these brands?
There are a few obvious ones, like location can be important, especially in Europe. In US, probably less. Otherwise, I would say we like segmenting based on engagement and how recently they purchased last time. So typically we use segments like engaged 15, engaged 30, engaged 90. And what these means, these numbers. So engaged 15 means those people who open an email at least once in the past 15 days. And then we do the same for engaged 30. That's 30 days. Engaged 90. It can be engaged 6 months as well. And we segment these people. And those who are in the engaged 15, these are the most engaged people. We send them much more emails. Like, let's say if you have a small list, I would send them 3 per week. And to engage 30, maybe 2. Engage 6 months, only 1. Or even less, like every second week, probably. So that could be a good cadence.
Fantastic. And then in terms of the content that you'll be sending to these different lists, how would the content vary for, say, a really engaged group of people that have opened an email in the last 15 days? What type of content would you send that list compared to the people who haven't opened an email, apart from in the last 90 days?
Yeah, sure. So how we typically approach this is you don't want to sell to a cold, not engaged subscriber. So to the engaged 90 guys, we want to send content only, or maybe customer reviews, some kind of trust builder, basically. But we don't want to push sales. And once they open it, they actually get into engage 15, right? Because they just opened an email. And then after, we can send them sales because they are warmed up already. They are interested. So for engage 90, engage 60, I would send only content, trust builders. And engage 30, engage 15, I would send sales emails as well. Because they regularly open, they are, they invest into your brand. And there you can sell products directly. You can give discounts, all of that.
That's a great way to actually nurture people in your email list. And if they're not as bought into the brand yet, don't even think about the sale. Just think about getting them to start opening emails again. Have you seen any subject lines perhaps that work well for the less engaged people in your audience? So that just sending them trust, perhaps customer reviews. What sort of subject lines, what type of emails do you send to these unengaged people to get them back engaged again?
Yeah, actually, that's a great question. I would ask our copywriters what they use nowadays. Spam filters, they are much smarter, so you can be less let's say, gimmicky than 5-6 years ago. Honestly, we use like a soft approach for those people, like something pretty simple, like check out our fresh reviews about our bestseller product or something like this. Nothing very, we can use the word gimmicky. I don't like the word, but yeah.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, customers are getting more and more wise. If you're using subject lines like "don't miss out" or "free this, free that," those type of urgency subject lines, people are going to be switched off straight away. And also the spam filters, as you say, if it's too spammy in the subject line, then they won't even end up in the inbox as well. So it is a fascinating way of looking at it. I think if people aren't emailing those who are less engaged to try and get them back engaged, you're missing out on an opportunity there. So what other subject lines, what other emails have you seen that work really well for people to get people back engaged, to get people back onto the website?
Yeah, maybe I would add one more thing. So why you don't want to be too gimmicky for unengaged people, not just the spam filters, but also remember they are not engaged. So they are very likely to report you, and you don't want that. You don't want spam complaints. You can use these more gimmicky for more engaged people, because even if it's not a good subject line, they will forgive you. Like they know you well, so they like you already. So yeah, that's why I wouldn't use those for unengaged. Yeah, and I would go for trust building. I would send them content. For example, we have a hiking brand. We send emails like top 5 destinations or top 5 national parks in the US for hiking. So things like that. It's a very, just content type of emails. If you sell, let's say, a high ticket item, I talked to a lady who sells expensive massage chairs, and she shares content in the emails with unengaged subscribers. So the 3 benefits of massage chairs. I think these numbers with lists work really well to engage unengaged people, like top 3, top 5, top 7 things, or things like how, why, so how to feel comfortable during sleep. Everyone wants to know that. And it's more about education and building trust again.
Yeah, very interesting. That might be a bit of a shift in mindset for some people that are perhaps a bit more new to email and they think they need to be focused on the sale. But actually, if you just take a step back, think about your audience, what are their pains, what are their needs, and how can you just answer that in subject lines in emails and just give them value and don't expect anything else back necessarily apart from them becoming more engaged. So to bring this to life then, I think it'd be good to hear perhaps a success story or the sort of strategies that have worked well for your agency with increasing the lifetime value for some of the brands that you've worked with. Have you got any success stories that come to mind?
Yeah, sure. So my favorite example is this hiking brand, and they are based in Canada, but they sell in the big 5 countries, English-speaking countries, and they typically sell items between 100, 200, maybe $300, clothing items, boots, all of these, and they are big on education as well. But actually, they launched a loyalty program, and we implemented email first, and then a loyalty program as well. So we combined the 2 things, and we checked their segments in Klaviyo, in the email software, the lifetime value of the customers. And I think the lifetime value of the average customer was around $300. And those who joined the loyalty program and the email list, there it was double. So we just doubled the value of those customers, which is huge, right? So after, you can spend much more on ads, or you can take home that money, whatever you want. So it just doubled their lifetime value.
And because email marketing is such a cost-effective way of marketing to these people or creating a loyalty program, it goes straight to the bottom line for the business. As you can say, you can then reinvest that to ads to generate more sales, or take it out yourself, however you want to invest that money. Interesting, a loyalty program. How did that actually work? How was a brand able to offer a loyalty program to their customers?
Yeah, so we realized that they have a very engaged audience. I think first you really need that. So you need at least a couple hundred, at least 1,000, I would say. So it takes time. But once you hit that, you can build out a loyalty program. And basically, there are many software tools out there you can use. We use Stem.io or Yotpo, Loyalty Lion. You can pick yours. But basically, they can earn points in the program based on different actions. Even if they follow you on social media, if they buy, if they subscribe, if they do, if they refer you to someone else. So based on different actions, they get points, and they can use those points later on, and they can get gifts. So you can really come up with smart ideas how to incentivize them. But yeah, they get the points, and then they get different rewards that they can turn into purchase. So it really incentivizes people in a creative way.
Yeah, it's very creative, and it creates a loyal following for your brand who will then, as you say, increase the lifetime value, which is very interesting for people to do for their brands. Now, of course, the starting point to create a loyalty program and to actually email anyone is to grow an email list in the first place. So have you got any tips for how people that are just getting started, perhaps how they can start to grow their email list more quickly?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I just shot a YouTube video about this topic last week. So how to get good sign-up forms, how to welcome new subscribers. And I think when you start out, that's the number one thing. You will see that this the welcome automation that you can set up, that generates the most revenue for you. It's crucial. Basically, you want to set up pop-ups on your website without making them too annoying. So how we set this up? So we go into Google Analytics, or maybe even Shopify knows this, but we check how much time people spend on your website. Let's say the average is 30 seconds. And then we set up a pop-up on the website with 30 seconds. So you want less than half of your visitors to see this pop-up, basically. You don't want to make it too annoying. And then you want to add a huge X button. So make it, user experience must be good, especially on mobile. But once you have this pop-up, you can add a nice incentive. So they want to subscribe. It can be a discount. That's the easiest one. Maybe you can add free shipping or a free gift if you can afford it. That actually converts very well. So, some smart offer if they subscribe, and after they join your list, and you can send them a welcome automation with a few emails, give them the discount or the offer, and they can go back to the store and buy. But then they are a part of your email list, and you can email them anytime.
Yeah. So the trigger to actually get the pop-up form to start, you mentioned that it would be based on the amount of time that customers are on your website. Do you see that there's like a time that seems to work really well, or will it depend on how often or how long customers are on the website for already?
Mostly time, and also on desktop it's exit intent. It's a kind of special thing. Basically, if anyone is on your site on desktop and they move their cursor, their mouse, then and they try to exit, they start moving upwards, then the pop-up software can see it and it triggers the pop-up. So we use the exit intent on desktop and the time trigger as well, which works on mobile too. And regarding time, it really depends on the store. That's why we check the data, what's the average time. But one thing for sure, I wouldn't show this pop-up within 5-10 seconds. It's just too short. And also, some people will get annoyed and they would buy, but because of the pop-up, they just exit or they just open a new browser or anything. So yeah, you don't want to do this too early.
Yeah, it's a balance, isn't it? But that exit intent pop-up is a powerful tool that we can use, especially on desktop, where it's more easy to tell if a customer's about to bounce, and that's our last chance then to try and get them to stay with us and give us their email address so we can get them on the list and bring them back to the website. Okay, fascinating. So I think I've certainly learned a lot from this conversation today, Daniel. So thanks for sharing a lot of insights with us. Now, for anyone that's eager to implement these and have your help to do that, I know that you have boosted and you can potentially boost the lifetime value for people listening from 20 to 50% in just 3 months. So if anyone's interested in doing that, where can they start with Budai Media?
So check out our website. It's thebudaimedia.com. So THEBUDAI media.com. And there is a contact form there, quick survey to see where you are now in your journey, if you can work together. And if the survey tells you a yes, then I'm happy to jump on a call and let's talk further.
Amazing. Thank you again, Daniel, for sharing your insights on the podcast today. Really appreciate it. And I'm sure there will be people checking out Budai Media to increase the lifetime value for their e-commerce businesses. So thank you, Daniel.
Thanks, James. Thanks, everyone.
Well, Lewis, that was an incredibly deep dive into the power of email marketing with Daniel there. I think the potential to significantly increase the lifetime value of customers is something that our listeners can't afford to overlook. Yeah, exactly. It's clear from the chat that we just had with Daniel there that mastering email marketing isn't just about sending emails. There's way more to it than that. It's about building relationships, as he said, understanding your customers at a much, much deeper level. Right, so implementing some of these strategies could be a game changer for many of our listeners' businesses today. So definitely implement what you've learned. Exactly. I know I will. I've taken a lot from that conversation and I'll be implementing them straight away into my own businesses. Definitely. And for those who are ready to take the next step and dive deeper into optimizing their e-commerce strategies, Daniel also provided an exclusive training with a wealth of knowledge in our premium members training area as well. And for a comprehensive guide to building and scaling your e-commerce business, remember to check out my book at htabook.com. It's the perfect companion to Daniel's insights, offering you a full framework to grow your business successfully. Enjoying the podcast? We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment or a review, and we might just feature it on an upcoming episode. Also, for detailed show notes and resources, head to dropshipunlocked.com/podcast. If you found value from any episode of this podcast, please take just 10 seconds to leave us a quick 5-star review on your podcast app of choice. It helps us more than you could imagine. And who knows, you might just hear your comments on the show. Thanks for being part of our community. Your support helps us keep delivering a new episode every week. Now it's time to answer a question that we've had in from a listener. Remember, if you want your questions answered, simply leave a comment below the YouTube video version of this episode, and it might just be answered on an upcoming episode. So this question has come in from Rishi Patel 4554, and they have asked, I know how important it is to find a mentor for my dropshipping business, but I don't know which style is better, one-to-one or group coaching. What do you think? Yeah, thanks for the question, Rishi. So I think the answer to that one, having now mentored thousands of people in our programs, is a balanced approach between the two. There's not really one that's better than the other, and I'll explain a bit about why, because they're both essential in my opinion. So having that approach that incorporates one-to-one mentoring and group coaching is really important because it gives you the best of both worlds. It gives you that personalized support that you need, so you can speak directly to a mentor, to a coach. You can speak directly, ask your questions, get the specific answers that you need for your unique challenges. But also, the benefit that you get from the group coaching is that sometimes you won't know the questions to ask because you aren't yet at the point where you have those questions. So the benefit of being in a group coaching environment means that you will learn the questions that you didn't even know you had, so that you then know the answers on how to tackle those challenges so that they don't even become questions as you progress through your journey. So hopefully you see what I mean there. If you were just on your own in a Zoom room with a mentor and you were just asking them questions, they'd be like, well, do you have any other questions? And you'd say, well, no, I don't think so, not right now. But someone else who was in that room might have had another question, and you won't get the benefit of learning their answer to that. So I think that's the reason why I mentioned, if it was the other way and it was only group and you had no ability to ask your question directly, again, you might have questions that you think, I wish they would just answer this on the group environment, but I can't interact directly because it's like a one-to-many type call. That's why at Dropship Unlocked, we have in our masterclass group coaching calls with a one-to-one element in there. So each time you're asking a question, you're interacting directly with one of us on the Q&A calls or on the collaboration calls with other members. but also there is the possibility of then booking a one-to-one call as well. So we kind of offer that dynamic, but I'd say most people get the most value from the coaching calls in a group environment, because they can then watch back the recordings of those, hear other people's questions, watch hundreds of hours of those. So it really is invaluable to get that combination of tailored advice, but also at the same time get the benefit of the collective wisdom of a group to get the answers to solutions and things that you may not have even considered. I think with all of this as well, this all needs to be underpinned by having a clear, proven step-by-step training program and framework to follow. I mean, if you are just relying on a mentor and there's no material to follow and there's no proven process, it's a very windy path to try to get your business up and running. If you have a robust foundation with a blueprint that you can follow, the steps, the videos, like the tutorials, all of that stuff that we have inside the masterclass where it guides you through that process. I'm not saying it's an easy journey, and that's why we have the coaching calls. That's why we have the community, the support. But it can be a very simple journey in that with the right structure, it's very repeatable. We know what to do, and it's extremely rewarding when you can make it come together. So hopefully that answers your question, Rishi, and anyone else listening who might be considering whether they need a private one-on-one mentor, or whether they want a group coaching, or whether they want to join a program. Really, you need all three. Like the way that this works best is that balanced combination of all three, because that way you'll be equipped with the tools that you need, the knowledge you need, the support networks that you need, and then you can navigate the complexities of business and build a thriving e-commerce dropshipping business.
Great question. And the combination is so important. I came across something recently where when you've got something that you're trying to learn, you've got people around you that are pushing you up because they're on the same level as you. And then you've also got access to mentors who are a few steps ahead of you, and they're able to pull you up to that position as well. So you've got a combination of both group coaching, people pushing you up around you, and the mentors there as well that will pull you to get to that level as well. And it's the ultimate combination. And it certainly worked for me, and I know it will do for you as well, Rishi. So thank you for your question. Okay, we're now going to highlight a recent review that we've had in from a listener for the podcast as well. So a big thank you to John G for the YouTube comment. And John said, "What amazes me is the quality of the delivery and the depth of the knowledge imparted. It's very exciting. Thank you so much."
Yeah, thank you so much for your review, John. Now, we know that people sharing the podcast across social media platforms, but specifically WhatsApp being the most common method of listeners sharing these podcast episodes. So perhaps there's someone that you might know who might be interested in running their own online business. The single biggest thing you could do to help them right now will be to share this episode with them, or this podcast with them, on WhatsApp. It will take you about 10 seconds. And the best part is that they'll always have you to thank for their success.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Dropship Unlocked podcast. We hope you're walking away with insights and inspiration.
To kickstart your e-commerce journey, grab a copy of my book, The Home Turf Advantage, at htabook.com. It's a distilled guide based on real experience to help you build your e-commerce venture.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more strategies and success stories. And if you like what you heard, a 5-star review would mean the world to us, and you might just get a shout out on an upcoming episode.
And finally, thank you for deciding to spend your time with us today. We can't wait to bring you more insights on the next episode of the Dropship Unlocked podcast.